There you go. That's my Shelly. That's my Michelle. There you go. Mm-hmm. Sound like a lawnmower. Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to the No Hedging Podcast. I am your host, one of your hosts, Ty the Jet. I'm here with my co-host,
Rip 16 to smoke.
Just smoking, man. And we're back with another episode this week, man. Week 2 of the Week 2 NFL takeaways. Week 2 was interesting, to say the least.
Week 2 was a fucking problem, is what it was.
Yeah, it was. Let's just say, expect the unexpected was going on this past weekend.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
But yeah, we're going to talk about a couple games, couple matchups that we saw, some takeaways from that game. But before we do that, make sure you guys hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. All right. For more videos like this, follow along. And also comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear, you fanatics out there. We want to see what you guys are thinking as well. So make sure you drop some of your insight and let us know how you guys are feeling about some of our takeaways and things of that nature. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. What is your takeaway from week 2?
From week 2, man, one of the very first takeaways I saw was can we get into that good old Chicago and Houston matchup?
Okay, Sunday Night Football.
Waiting all day for Sunday night, and it was an interesting one, right? I know the Chicago Bears, right? They have a proud history with their fan base. They have one of those rowdy fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this about Caleb Williams, right? I've had my concerns personally. I was like, man, he come in with the bear down. I hate y'all sayings. I hate.
He's trying to change the culture.
He's changing the culture. You come in, I'm like, okay, how well is that gonna mesh with the team? I know the younger guys, they like to do the fingernail paint and all this or whatever. Do you? But I will say this: he came out, he played pretty tough in that game. Despite having some challenging moments throughout that game, he was playing against a pretty tough defense. They was after him, they was chasing him, but he was resilient. He took some hits.
A lot.
He was running around.
Yeah, he got beat up.
He got beat up a little bit, but he kept getting back up. And he kept trying to make some plays out there. I seen Keenan Allen talking to him on the sideline, kind of giving him some pointers on
coaching him
release times, coaching him up. And I do like that. So I will say I'm not ready to ring the alarm like some sports commentators I've heard on the Chicago Bears. I think Caleb, he did make some impressive throws in the midst of having some tough moments out there. So, he just needs some more time. They got to get their rhythm. They got to get their timing. It was very atrocious and tiring for DJ Moore because he was like, bro, I'm open. And he's like, bro, get me the ball.
Throw it in my area.
He's like, just get it in my vicinity and I can do something. But you're not even getting it close to me. DJ Moore was visibly frustrated and understandably frustrated based on what was going on. However, I do think that they can pull it together, and as they continue to work and play together, their timing will get a lot better. So I think that improves over time. So I'm not going to ring the alarm. The Houston Texans are a phenomenal team.
Yeah.
Nico Collins fucking cooked. The scariest part is they got 2 more wide receivers that can do the same thing, and you still got Joe Mixon who can give you 100 all-purpose yards. So I'm not super upset about them losing that game by 6.
Yeah, they played well. Houston.
Yeah.
But
Houston did not have a problem.
Chicago's defense, they were able to keep the game kind of close, closer than what the game should have actually been.
Right.
But I think in terms of, Caleb Williams and his progress, they need to run the ball more. They need to be a little bit more effective on the run game.
Well, DeAndre Swift won't get nothing going.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put that all on him. Offensive line play. You know what I'm saying? Like, just how we blame the offensive line for not protecting quarterbacks, we have to blame the offensive line for not opening up running lanes for these running backs.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it's twofold. So I think, they open up a run game. They not open up, but establish a run game. That helps eliminate the pressure, as much pressure that Caleb Williams has on him already to make these errant throws. You know what I'm saying? Make these off-target throws. Making him, putting pressure on that offensive line where the Houston Texans are blitzing him every single play, damn near. Blitzing him more than they blitz anybody, right? So, that's usually the formula for a rookie quarterback on the defensive side. Send the blitz. Let's see if he can read the blitz. Let's see if he can navigate the blitz. And he wasn't able to effectively do so consistently. So, I think that's where, the growth and the progression from Caleb Williams is going to come from. When he's in the pocket and he can deliver a throw and knows exactly where to go with the football, he's lights out. He's accurate. He's on target. He looks like he's in control. But when the plays break down and they start bringing that pressure and bringing that heat, that's when the problem happens. So, and that's what any rookie quarterback. So that's why my, prediction, people was talking about 8.5 wins. I think they're going to win less than that. I'm not sold on, them going to the playoffs or something like that. Not this year. Even though everybody wants to see this C.J. Stroud effect that happened last year, that's not going to be every quarterback in every situation.
We can't expect that every year.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of that, the offensive coach, offensive coordinator, that plays a role as well. So if he's not paired up with the right coordinator, then that's going to be a problem. As we've been seeing, some of the best quarterback head coach tandem has been an offensive-minded head coach with the quarterback. The Bears got a defensive coordinator as a defensive-minded head coach. So that's my takeaways on that. And Houston's going to go to the playoffs. They're going to be the best team in their division
for sure.
C.J. Stroud, he
stay healthy, they're good.
Yeah, he made some phenomenal throws on the run and crucial downs, accurate, on target, down the field. C.J. Stroud is a beast, and like you said, you already touched on Joe Mixon and the other receivers, but just to shed some more light on C.J. Stroud, like he's just a phenomenal young player, second year, and like I said, C.J. Stroud MVP, keep it going.
Right. So what's your takeaway? What you got for me?
Now that we're talking about upsets, right? My takeaway is a lot of upsets in the league, right? It was a lot of heavy favorites. You got teams. Let's start with how the New Orleans Saints kind of tapped the Cowboys' ass.
Tapped.
They went into Dallas and dominated from the start. I'm a little bit disappointed in the Dallas defense for allowing 44 points.
I'm a lot bit disappointed in Dallas defense for that, especially allowing it. These are two fan bases that I wouldn't necessarily say they're my favorite fan bases. Mm-hmm. However, Dallas does a lot of chirping. I mean, they got high expectations. You paid your top wide receiver. You paid your quarterback. And then come to find out the defense was your problem today.
Disappointing loss at home, the home opener.
The Saints barbecued them.
Yeah, when the Saints marching in, Alvin Kamara, 4 touchdowns. They had no answers for him. Derek Carr was looking like an MVP candidate already in week 2 against a defense that the week prior put an ass kicking on the Cleveland Browns on the road. So you would expect them to play.
Their defense is supposed to be better than that, man. Yeah. They just supposed to be better than that. Yeah. I'm hearing all these different things. It was like, the Kubiak lineage and the scheme, for the Saints and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it is. But that's Dallas, and their defense has been a staple for the past few years. This is something what they're supposed to be extremely good at. Mm-hmm. And they were extremely bad. I saw these boys get cooked. And the Saints didn't even look like they were under any pressure at all. Mm-mm. The Saints looked like they was able to do whatever they want. They had 6 consecutive scoring drives.
Yeah, for touchdowns.
6.
Yeah.
You can't do that with it. No.
On the road.
On the road? What? That would make no sense. So Saints got to get your shit together, man. The Saints did good. As much as it pains me to say it, the Saints did great. The Cowboys, you gotta get your shit together, man.
Yeah,
I don't have much to say outside of that, but get it together. Like, don't blame Dak. I know Dak is a lot of times a scapegoat,
right,
for the Cowboys, but Dak don't play defense.
This loss was 100% on the Dallas Cowboys defense. After that performance they showed in Cleveland, to come home in your home opener and get the brakes beat off of you early. The game was over pretty early.
It was over in the second quarter.
Yeah, first half the game was pretty much over.
Yeah, it was a wrap.
You know, the Saints came in there and took the life out of Dallas early, and that was the end of it.
Shang Tsung took their soul. Another upset, since we're talking about it.
Upset alert.
Kind of an upset, not really, but I think it was a nice moment for the Green Bay Packers. They were an underdog in that game because Jordan Love was out. Mm-hmm. But they didn't act like Jordan Love was out. Mm-mm. Like, they came out there, that defense held ground. The Colts were not able to generate a lot of offense, especially in that first half. And they were still able to score with Malik Willis. You know, it was like, okay, he don't need to know all the plays. He needs to know the scheme and the plays that we're running for him. So, and apparently it worked. Because, you know, it wasn't a high-scoring game at all, but they did end up winning that game. And they looked like they had control of it for the vast majority of it, I would say. So that was one of my takeaways as far as the upset goes.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job really just protecting Malik Willis. I think they ran the ball. What's the name? Had 32 carries or some shit like that. Something crazy.
Run him.
Yeah, so they did a great job at protecting Malik Willis and not putting him out there like that. To get attacked, and the Colts offense just looked like they didn't have it. They ain't have it that day. So
they couldn't do it.
Huge shout out to the Green Bay Packers and, you know, Matt LaFleur for dialing up and calling a good game in the absence of Jordan Love to keep the Packers pretty much rolling.
What did you think about the Buccaneers and Lions?
Yeah, like we talked about in the rundown last week. This was a playoff matchup, a rematch. You know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they played the Detroit Lions last year in the playoffs, and they lost. It was a heartbreaker. So they came out with, you know, the intensity of this was a playoff game. Right. Baker Mayfield was playing pretty well. The Lions' defense was pretty damn good. Aiden Hutchinson had like 4 sacks.
Yeah.
you know? And
he was in the backfield.
Yeah, he was in the backfield. So, yeah, it was just more so, you know, the Lions' offense seemed like they couldn't get it going like they normally do. Hell, even Dan Campbell, he kind of blamed himself for, you know, not managing the game the right way towards the end of it. But ultimately, Tampa Bay, they came out early, they came out swinging early, and they was able to withstand, you know, all that pressure that the Lions defense put on them. But, you know, taking it back, you know, that Lions secondary, you know, they're not it yet. You know, Arnold, their first round cornerback, he got caught on a touchdown, got caught beat deep and all that. But, you know, nevertheless, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're looking like one of the top teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, they tough, you know. I mean, Baker giving you 185. He had 1 interception, but Chris Godwin coming out there having another good game. 117 yards receiving. Mm-hmm. Amon-Ra had a lot of yards as well. He had 119. Jahmyr Gibbs, he had a good rushing game. But I mean, that's just one of them teams where you don't necessarily look at them on paper and expect them to go out there and be dominant or control a game, but the Buccaneers do find ways to win games. Mm-hmm. So I got to give them some credit on that one, and they had a very good win, you know, which will help them, you know, going down the street as we make it towards playoffs and all that. It's very early in the season, so we can't say too much about playoffs yet. But, yeah, I thought that was a great win for them. And the other one was your team that you predicted.
Dark horse.
The Dark Horse Cardinals.
Playoff team, man. I'm telling you guys now, I told you guys weeks before the season started, the Arizona Cardinals, they're going to sneak into the playoffs, especially with the Rams. How ironic. They played the Rams this past weekend and put a beating on them, 41-10 at home. We had a Marvin Harrison Jr. sighting this weekend.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, you know, he was in
3 tutties.
Yeah, in post game, they was asking him in interviews throughout the week, asking him about Marvin Harrison and getting him the ball and things of that nature. And pretty much he was saying, hey, I'm just running the plays that are being called. And he was able to get Marvin Harrison the ball 4 times, 4 catches for 130 and 2 touchdowns. So
the boy took the top off on him.
But they were playing a depleted Rams team,
right?
Who is very, very, very injured right now.
Yeah,
they have no offense, no receivers. Their top receivers are hurt. Their defense is hurt. So they had
this issue last year where they were beat up. Starting off the season last year with Cooper Kupp, and he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw them kind of struggle to generate some offensive motion,
Mm-hmm.
Puka came alive, but even Puka got injuries right now, so it's like, okay. I haven't seen much out of Kyron Williams as of yet. I would like to see him utilized a little differently and get some more yardage, generate something.
Yeah.
I got him on fantasy, so that would be beautiful for me as well.
Yeah.
But much credit to the Arizona Cardinals because James Conner, he came out, had 122 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison, like you just mentioned. But Kyler Murray doing what he does as far as extending plays. I seen multiple plays where he had like 9 seconds to get the ball off.
Yeah.
It's hard for the best cornerback to cover any wide
no
receiver
secondary.
that long.
No secondary can hold that.
So, I mean, getting pressure on Kyler Murray is difficult because of his escapability and maneuverability, and he's weaving in and out of the pocket.
He throws a beautiful ball, man.
He throw the ball good.
That second touchdown pass to Marvin Harrison, he put some touch on it, like his hands flicked when he threw it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but I knew it was wide open because the way he put that touch on it, his finger flicked when he threw that motherfucker.
So yeah, man, he threw a beautiful pass, man, and he got him a good young wide receiver who is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So watch out for those Cardinals. They probably
they got a nice package going, man. They can run the football. They're physical. They can throw the football. They get Marvin Harrison involved in the pass. You got a young mobile quarterback who's accurate with the football. Seems a lot more focused now after all the nonsense that he was in, the years prior. So young team, ready to rock and roll. I like the Cardinals, man. I really do.
Yeah, for sure. I will say another bird team. Let me grab my hookah again. It was a lot of upsets, messed up a lot of parlays, but I don't like.
A lot of people lost money this week.
I don't like to smoke or drink over bad occasions. I like to do it in celebratory occasions. And one reason I brought this hookah out is because the Falcons upset the Eagles.
It's week 2, and these desperate Falcon fans are acting like they won the Super Bowl in week 2.
We didn't say we won the Super Bowl. However,
have some decorum.
This was a game that I fully expected them to lose. I will say that as a fact, as a Falcons
fan.
A
lot of Falcons fans did. I think the vast majority of Falcons fans expected the Falcons to lose, but as soon as they freaking win,
happy. We happy we won.
Like, come on,
it's like you go to play the lotto. You go to play the lotto, you might not really expect to win, but if you hit the lotto, you like, oh my God, I won.
But here's my thing. You should expect to win with the team that you have put together.
Okay, but we not about to act like the Eagles aren't the Eagles. Okay.
All right, Eagles, go your takeaway.
The Eagles are a tough team. Jalen Hurts came out there. He wasn't playing particularly bad. They was a little bit slow to start. It was 0-0 in that first quarter. It was a lot of
3 and outs.
A lot of 3 and outs on both sides of the football. The defenses were getting at it. However, the run game started to pick up.
For both teams,
Bijan opened up. He was getting some nice yardage off the pass and the rush. You got him in fantasy. I know he did good for you.
Did all right.
Tyler Algier.
He didn't get a touchdown. Would have been nice.
That would have been nice. But Tyler Algier, he came in and supported as the second back. He had some pretty nice rushes in there too.
And I'll give you credit because you mentioned this last time. You said you would like to see them use Tyler Algier more.
Right.
And I do like that combo with Bijan and Algier because it's 2 different types of backs and 2 different running styles. But what I noticed is like they use them on the same plays, really.
Yeah.
But it gives the defense a different look, right? Because it's like, all right, well, if Tyler Allgeier's in the game, he's going to run up the gaps.
Right.
But then they ran plays for him off tackle, right? So it's like kind of throws the defense off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Algier, he's a good running back as well. You know, Bijan is just a very special talent, and he's one of those all-purpose backs. So
yeah, Allgeier's a 1,000-yard back.
Right, he was a 1,000-yard rusher just the season before last, and I would argue that the only reason he didn't get 1,000 is because Bijan was there last season. So, use him, and they did. And I do think I will say this also. Kirk Cousins looked like he was a little bit more free flowing. I don't know if he heard what the city was saying. It was like, bro, if you hurt, sit down. Da da da. But he came out, he didn't look hurt. He looked like he was moving around a little bit more. He's never been a super mobile quarterback, but he was moving around enough to get some passes off, escape a couple of tackles. You know, give the wide receivers some time to get open. You're playing against a tough defense, all those dogs chasing after you. But
that defense wasn't tough yesterday. I'm sorry, Philly. Your defense was very, very weak. It wasn't much pressure.
In that second half.
Wasn't much pressure at all. The defense, the Philadelphia defense, they let the floodgates. I could have ran and got 100 yards on that defense as much as wide open those holes were.
Credit to the
Falcons.
It
was terrible.
Credit to the Falcons offensive line. They made some moves and created some gaps and got some guys open to be able to make that play. They blocked pretty well on some screens where they threw to Bijan a lot. And then that last drive after Saquon Barkley shot the bed and dropped that pass that could have sealed the game. Credit to the Falcons. They came out right after he dropped
about a minute and 40-something seconds on the clock.
They got down the field too fast. They needed to slow down.
They did.
They they got down the field so fast. They looked super poised. They did not look like they were almost about to lose a game. They looked like, oh, okay, bet. They came out 40-yard pass, 20-yard pass, 20-yard pass. Then you in the red zone and you got like 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
So we like, oh, snap. Then Drake gets wide open. Drake pulled out the Drake during the celebration.
I don't know how Slay let Drake get open like that.
I don't know, but that
Drake
was the
literally
defense.
he ran in motion, and he gave himself enough room to run the out-breaking route
right
to the freaking pylon.
Right.
So as a DB, I should have the awareness to know, okay, he's more closer inside, so he's trying to give himself space to run an out route, and he got cooked on the route.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's what I'm saying. That defense at that point in time just looked like nothing. Yeah, like it was non-existent.
The Philly defense was not good last night.
Especially during that last drive.
It was not
non-existent.
Good. It was not good. Credit to the Falcons, man. Kirk Cousins, he stayed in that pocket. I enjoy watching Kirk Cousins stay in the pocket and delivering strikes down the field.
Yeah.
Like standing strong. I don't care if it's Kirk. It could be any quarterback. Any
offensive
quarterback
line
that can stay in the pocket and deliver strikes down the field. 15, 20 yards down the field, in the middle of the field, inside the hashes. I love seeing that. And he was doing that with confidence. I feel like he was, the rust got shaken off of him a little bit. In the beginning of the game, he was a little bit slow to do that. Feel like he was holding on to the ball, not letting it go to the receivers or that he should have been letting it go to. But after, towards the end of the game, second half, he just started letting that thing go. I guess it all started to click. He started to read the Eagles defense. They're mainly in zone coverage the majority of the night, and he was just picking them apart.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they got to tighten up. I do think the Eagles will use it as motivation to get better, so I think whoever they play next is going to be a problem because they're going to come out fired up because they know they should have won.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, he tried to, give Saquon a little bit of slack. He was like, yeah, I kind of overthrew it a little bit. It wasn't your fault at all. I know you were saying that to support your teammate, but I could tell you was pissed.
No, yeah.
But I think the Eagles will come out and play better. I know their fan base will not love that at all. It was a lot of energy for that home opener, but it was bad at the end of the game. But yeah, man, I think the only other things
I got
really
one.
saw. What you got?
The damn Ravens and the Raiders.
Okay, I was about
The
to say.
freaking Ravens. I don't know what's going on over there. They need to run the football with Derrick Henry. I mean, you up 10 and you allow the Raiders to come back and get a dub on your home field.
I don't know. I don't know what to make sense of that. There was a 9-point favorite?
9-point favorite.
8 or 9, something.
Mm-hmm.
They had a high point spread, and I've kind of expected them to cover it.
Yeah.
On a home opener.
I did too. But like we mentioned, the Raiders, they're a tough team. They're real scrappy. They're gonna come to play. Like you said, Max Crosby, he made his presence known. And Lamar felt them.
He did. He did.
But I don't know. The Ravens, they need to tighten up. I think they need to get back into the meeting room and start drawing up some plays for Derrick Henry, so he can run the ball more. I mean, 18 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. I mean, Derrick Henry needs about 25, 30 carries. That's what you brought him there for.
Devontae Adams had 110 yards receiving, though.
Shout out to Tay Adams, man, fantasy guy.
And Gardner Minshew had 276 yards passing.
Yeah.
That passing defense has to tighten up because you shouldn't be getting cooked like that by Gardner Minshew. And it's not because Gardner Minshew is bad, but it's because you're supposed to be better than that.
Yeah, and then the Ravens, I mean, like we mentioned previously, like they lost a lot of players in the offseason on the defensive side of the football, lost a defensive coordinator that's a really good defensive coordinator. So that all plays a role into them giving up 26 points at home to the Raiders. So that's a problem that they definitely need to address. Yeah. What's the other one you got before we sign off?
The other thing I was gonna say is, do you think the Chiefs, they got 2 very, very close games they won, right? Last minute, something going on at the end of the game. But do you think that the Chiefs have a problem?
No.
Even though they've won both of these games, do you think they have a problem by these 2 very close games?
I don't care how you win football games as long as you win them. As long as the Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes as starting quarterback and Andy Reid as the head coach, they're going to be fine.
Okay.
They're going to be fine.
I just had a quick question. I mean, I just wanted to know your opinion on that. I mean, I think they'll be fine. Also, ultimately, the Chiefs have been here and done it multiple times over, and they're going after something unprecedented. So, people are going to play them harder.
Yeah, they're going to get played hard no matter what.
They're going to get played hard no matter who they play. They're going to give it their all because they do want to actually beat the champs. But they keep on finding a way.
Hey, Niners might be in trouble too. They down Debo, down CMC, lose to the Vikings.
I told you the Vikings beat them last year.
Scrappy. They did, and they got them again.
I told you they beat them last year.
Underdogs went crazy.
My defensive coordinator over there at the Vikings,
Brian Flores.
That boy Flores was dialing it up.
B-Flow, man.
So
yeah,
they did their thing. Much credit to them, man. But make sure y'all like, share, comment, subscribe, man. Y'all stay tuned with us. Keep on sticking in there. This was a psychotic week in terms of the upsets. I thought it was week 1. How we got all these upsets.
I'm picking underdogs from here on out. Week 3, let's go.
But make sure y'all come right back. We're gonna be right back with the rundown, man. And we hope to clean this mess up that we just experienced from week 2 and come back way better, because that was a very sad week.
Football,
but we'll get into those records of how we did as soon as we get back with the rundown.
Peace.
Yeah,